Hey there everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault, and we're going to talk about Xbox and more precisely Game Pass today. So let's just cue up the music and we'll get right into it. Alright, so the headline here from thatparkplace.com, and I will link to it down below, is that Xbox jacks up the price for yearly Game Pass subscription by 25%. That's a pretty significant number there. And they break it down inside here, and we'll talk about it, or we'll read through it actually together, and we'll talk about it as we go. But before we even go there, I'm gonna express my feelings on Game Pass and games as a subscription and all that. I don't like it, right? I never was a big fan of Game Pass, especially when they do the day one drops. I believe, personally, and this isn't a PlayStation, Xbox thing, I know I'm a PlayStation guy and all that, and if I had an Xbox, I would definitely get Game Pass just because I do see the value in it. There's no doubt there's value in it, but I think it devalues gaming as a whole, and I think that's one of the biggest problems out there for the Microsoft Studios is that they just... How can you make money off of this setup? I don't understand that, right? Games are expensive to make. Games get more and more expensive every year, and they've ballooned in the last few years, it seems, in their price for what it takes to produce a game. You know, they're hiring big actors. The production value of games has gone up immensely. You know, bigger. Everything's bigger, badder, and more wild. Then you've got outside consultancy firms they're hiring in to consult for different stuff and all that. And it just seems like a lot of money is being thrown at these games, and probably a lot that could be kept, and not thrown at these games. And the game will probably be just as good, if not better, than it was after all that crap was thrown at it there. So I think that something like Game Pass, if you own an Xbox or you own a PC, and you've got a Game Pass subscription, and you're going to get a drop on day one, why would you buy the game, right? Why would you buy the game? Honestly. Maybe, if you really liked it, later on you would buy it, to kind of keep it in your collection or something like that, because I know Game Pass will cycle games in and out of the subscription service, throughout time and all that, so... And I'm not sure, correct me, let me know if you're a Game Pass subscriber. I don't know if they give you, like, the premium version of the game, like, with the extras, Like, let's say the new Assassin's Creed coming out, right? I see Ubisoft Plus is offering it, and I think they're offering the full $150 version or whatever. I'm exaggerating a little bit. But I think they're offering that on their Ubisoft Plus. I'm not sure if Game Pass does the same thing, like if they offer, like Starfield, for instance, if they offered Starfield with its Season Pass and all the updates that would come with it, DLCs and so forth. Is that a thing? Because if it is, then that even puts a little bit more value in there. If not, then I could see this being a model that might make money, but you'd have to really... It would be tough, Because let's say you put out a $70 game like Starfield. I would assume it's a $70 game at the least. And you gave it for free. But then you released over a period of the next 2 years 3 DLCs at $20 a pop. But you did make those free. Well, then you got a model where you can at least start making some money. You made the money off the subscription. You made the money off the people initially buying the game. And now you can make money off of people getting the DLC for it. You can be really shady about it and take Starfield off of Game Pass right before DLC releases, forcing people to buy it if they want to play the DLC and they don't own the game. So there's different ways you could make money and all that. That's kind of shady and dirty and all that, but I mean, it could be profitable too, right? It is what it is. It's, studios make games to make money. They don't make games to entertain you and to make you happy and all that. They make games to make money. That's the bottom line. Now, developers and all that, individuals, they may be passionate about what they do. They may want you to have the most amazing experience. They may write a story that tugs at the heartstrings, and they just want you to lay in bed at night and think about that story and the repercussions of what your character's done and all that. They may want you to log in and open a door of the castle for the first time and see the surrounding kingdom and look out there with awe as the griffin and dragon fly by and the light beams that God rays are coming at you and the leaves are moving in the breeze and the brook is babbling and there's little trout jumping around in there. There's a lot of passion that goes into gaming and all that and creating games. There's no doubt about that. But the bottom line of the big guys is money. And I just don't think Xbox Game Pass is a way to make money. That's just my thought, though. I could be wrong. So let's go ahead and read the story a little bit. Microsoft and Xbox announced a significant price increase for Game Pass, and it went in effect today. This was done on July 10th, this story. In a post on Xbox's website, the company shared that in the US, the price for Game Pass Ultimate increased from $16.99 to $19.99 per month. That's a 17% price hike per month. The company also revealed the yearly subscription for Game Pass Core increased from $59.99 to $74.99. That's a 25% increase. These price changes go into effect for new members effective July 10th, 2024. For those with a recurring subscription, the price will change beginning on September 12th, 2024. On top of the increase in prices, Xbox appears to be preparing to phase out Xbox Game Pass for console. The company announced starting on July 10th, 2024, Xbox Game Pass for console will not be available for new members. However, it also noted that currently subscribed members will still have access to the service and will be able to continue to enjoy their membership. This is contingent on members stay subscribed to the membership. Xbox noted if at any time you turn off your automatic payment renewal and your membership lapses, you will no longer have access to Game Pass for console and will need to join one of the other plans we offer for Game Pass. That's weird. And, wow. So I always thought that was a big selling point for the Xbox. Now, again, this is not console war nonsense, so don't come at me with that. I'm not here to talk down about Xbox and talk up about PlayStation or anything like that. They're two hunks of plastic that allow you to play good games that look pretty damn good at a reasonable price, as opposed to a PC, which can be quite expensive, to be honest with you. And, I'm saving up for one, but it's expensive. And when I build one, I'm going to build the best I can afford, or the best I can't quite afford, and then just make it work, that sort of thing. But this is a great way for people to jump into gaming that's somewhat affordable. And Xbox took it even a step further with the Series S, which to me was kind of a weird thing, even weirder than everything else going on, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, finally the company announced a new Game Pass option, and they're calling Xbox Games Pass Standard. This option is priced at $14.99. It grants players access to hundreds of high-quality games on console, allows players access to online console multiplayer, and gives them access to member deals and discounts. You can see the 3 Game Pass options that Xbox has available below. Now, I subscribe to PlayStation Plus, and I subscribe to the highest tier. I buy it annually. It's a once every February, my birthday. I treat myself to it, and it's good for the year. And I get some value out of it. I don't think I get my full value out of it because I tend to stick with a game like Ark, for instance, and just play the crap out of that. But I will enjoy other games on there from time to time. Some smaller games, some independent games. I just want something different. But in my household, it actually pays off better because my wife can access it, and play games. My the boy, her son can, and it gives them the opportunity to play a lot of different games. It's like, hey, here's my old PlayStation Pro, bro. I give it to the kid. He's 12 now. You log in. Here's your login and all that. You're logged in under me. You have access to my entire library of games from all these years and the stuff that's available through PlayStation Plus. So, the kid's in hog heaven. So anyway, let's look at these options. Game Pass plans for Xbox consoles. Xbox Game Pass offers access to hundreds of high-quality games with new titles added all the time. Whether you enjoy playing games on console, PC, or cloud, there's an option for you. If you play on Xbox consoles, you can choose Game Pass Ultimate or Game Pass Core. In the coming months, we'll have a new option available, Xbox Game Pass Standard, where members will have access to hundreds of games on console plus online console multiplayer. All right, well, let's look at this. I'm a little confused here because I thought they said it wasn't going to be out there for console anymore, but it looks like it still is. So the Ultimate's going to give you day one releases, hundreds of high quality games, online console multiplayer, member deals and discounts, EA Play membership, cloud gaming on multiple devices, and free perks every month. Whereas the Game Pass standard, hundreds of games, online console multiplayer, members deals and discounts, and then Xbox Game Pass Core, over 25 high quality games on console, online console multiplayer, member deals and discounts. And this is something that I'm not happy with Xbox, PlayStation, and I think Switch does it as well. It is that it requires you to join one of these services to play online with your friends. That's kind of annoying that they do that they lock that ability of your console behind a paywall. And they started it a long time ago. I don't remember who did it first. It might have been Microsoft, but whoever did it first, the other guy did it right after him, because it's been that way for a long time. And it's a little aggravating. It's like, well, why? It's just a cheesy way to take some money from you every month, but I guess they justify it because, we're monitoring the chats and we're giving you, we have the infrastructure built, we need to maintain it and all that. I get it, I guess. I don't know. It just feels unnecessary, to some degree, but whatever. These price hikes come in the wake of multiple rounds of layoffs by Microsoft and Xbox over the past year. Gaming and Microsoft CEO Phil Spencer originally explained one round of layoffs in January in a memo that was to align on a strategy and an execution plan with a substantial cost structure that will support the whole of our growing business. Together we've set priorities, identified areas of overlap, and ensured that we're all aligned on the best opportunities for growth. He continued, as part of this process, we have made the painful decision to reduce the size of our gaming workforce by approximately 1,900 roles out of the 22,000 people on their team. That's almost 10% there. That's quite a bit. Now, when a company's not doing well, right, and it's not making money, all companies exist to make money. Microsoft's no different, right? And, and not only does a company want to make money, it wants all of its divisions to make money, right? So Microsoft might be doing great here, great there, and on this front and all that, but they want Xbox and Game Pass and all that to make money too, because why should 4 parts of the company make money but the 5th not, right? Then it's just like it's dead weight basically. So they're gonna, they have to do things to make this happen, right? What are the 2 things you can do to make money, to make more money for your company if you're in trouble? Well, one of them is you can offer, you try to sell more of what you're selling, right? There's way, you say, well, you know what? Let's try a little bit more advertising. Let's add more value to what we're selling here. If you're a restaurant, say, well, maybe if we make things a little bigger on the portions, or maybe if we offer a free dessert on Tuesdays and Thursdays, different things like that. You try to add more value, to bring more people to your place of business, to buy more of whatever it is you're selling. That's one way to make money. But if that doesn't work, the other way is to cut your costs. You can say, well, my restaurant now, we're not going to garnish our plates anymore with a piece of kale and a slice of lemon because, overall, we're just losing money with that. That's a money loss. It doesn't really offer anything of value to the plate other than a little aesthetic look to it. People aren't eating it or whatever, you know what I mean? So you can cut costs, Well, we could fire the dishwasher and just let the cooks clean the dishes at the end of the shift, That's what we're talking about here with the layoffs and stuff. You can lower the value of what it is you're selling and all that, raise the price of it, or you can, cut the costs, get rid of people that are quote unquote unnecessary, for you to continue. And what Microsoft has been doing is they've been cutting studios, shutting down studios, and now they're raising prices. So they're doing 2 things here. So that lends me to believe they are in trouble, and this is not being viable for them as far as making money goes. And, maybe I'm wrong, but I doubt it. I just don't see how it is a way you can really, really make money. Not unless you have, I don't know how many millions of people, with the cost of games and how much does each studio get, out of each subscription, right? I mean, if it's only $15 a month, how do you divide that up amongst hundreds of games, right? Let's say it was $20 a month, and you had 100 games on there, right? And what would you do? Would you divide up and say, okay, well, every company that has a game on there, we've got 100 games, that at 10 cents a game, that's nothing, right? Absolutely nothing. 20 cents a game? I mean, how do you do it? How do you make it work? It just doesn't seem like it would work. You would need millions and millions of people. And then how do you balance that, right? Like, I don't know. Because some games aren't going to draw people to get Game Pass. Some games are just going to be filler in there. It's going to be like, all right, well, that's there. I'm not really interested in that. Are they deserving of a full cut, or should they only get 5 cents, 3 cents, 1 cent? It's weird. I don't know how that works, but... And I'm just using round numbers there. In an interview with Polygon in March, Spencer put much of the blame on what he saw as an industry that was no longer growing. He explained, the thing that has me most concerned for the industry is the lack of growth. And when you have an industry that is projected to be smaller next year in terms of players and dollars, and you get a lot of publicly traded companies that are in the industry that have to show their investors growth, because what else does somebody own a share of someone's stock if it's not going to grow? The side of the business that gets scrutinized is the cost side, because if you're not going to grow the revenue side, then the cost side becomes challenged, he added. And he's right. That's what we were just talking about. You can either bring in more revenue or cut costs. Those are the two easiest things to do. Everything else, they do some witchcraft or whatever, but that's how you make it happen. Next, he shared, we're a business. I've said over and over, I don't get any luxury of not having to run a profitable growing business inside of Microsoft, and we are that today. But just across the industry, you mentioned it, and in sitting here at GDC, I reflect on friends of mine in the industry that have been displaced and lost their jobs, and how I don't want this industry to be a place where people can't with confidence build a career. So that's why I keep pivoting back to, how does the industry get back to growth? But to your question, for us as Xbox or any of the teams that are out there, it is really an outcome of an industry that's not growing. It can grow and it will grow again. But you see this time right now and the implications of human impact. And we should all reflect on that and think about it, Spencer asserted. I've been saying it for a while now that this industry is heading for a crash. Gaming is going to crash, and it's going to crash hard. And there's a lot of reasons for it. We can look at the ballooning costs of games, how much games cost to make now. And studios need to learn how to make a good game without allowing that cost to get out of hand. Not every game needs to be a quote-unquote triple, or as Ubisoft likes to call it, quadruple A game. You can go out with some great AA games, some great independent games, some smaller games. Not everything needs to be an endless moneymaker, and I think that's one of the problems in this industry right now is people look at the Fortnite model and they go, I want that. It's like inventing a money printing machine and putting it in your basement. You just come home and print however much money you want. Fortnite works. Fortnite works for Fortnite. But the problem is Fortnite is an entrenched game. It exists and millions of people play it constantly. And it's huge, right? So if you make a game that says, I want to be like Fortnite, well, now you're going to make your game and you're going to put it up against Fortnite, who is already there, this massive behemoth of a game. And you may chip away a small portion of players and say, hey, yeah, this is like Fortnite, but this is a little different. I like this. I kind of like this, because gamers are fickle and not everything appeals to everybody. And someone might say, yeah, this is like Fortnite, but it has this instead. The aesthetic's different. The setting's different, whatever. Something minor changes or whatever could draw a small portion of people away. But if it's just a small portion of people, it's not going to be sustainable. Live service games need a full-on group of people to play them to keep them viable. And if they don't have that, then, they get shut down after months or a couple years, whatever. They fall apart. And we've seen so much of that lately, and we're about to see a lot more. Look at Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Just came out, right? Second season is just beginning with Miss Freeze and the weird Karen look that she has. The weird non-binary, I don't know what the hell it is look. They had Gay Joker a few months back. This game is getting hundreds of people max. at a time playing. That's nothing. For a live service game, that is absolutely nothing. It's absolute garbage. Warner Brothers took a $200 million hit on that game. That's bad, you know. So everybody wants to do these live service games, and it's not going to work. First off, there's a finite number of players, there's a finite number of time, and then there's a finite amount of money that can be spent on playing these games, right? So if not every gamer likes these games. I don't like these games. I have no desire to play live service. I don't want to log on every night and go into a 4-person co-op shooter and pick my hero and jump around and get cool emotes and all that and skins so that I can be, super cool when I kill somebody. That doesn't appeal to me. I don't really care about that kind of stuff. Some live service has been fun. I enjoyed Fallout 76 quite a bit, when I was playing that. But for the most part, they're just, to me, it's like a game that just eats up all your time and all your gaming money. So you kind of atrophy as a gamer. You never grow. You never get to experience new things. If you play a game like Fortnite and it's free, not all of them are free too, and that's something we'll talk about. But, you play Fortnite. Fortnite's free. You download it free. What do? You spend money on skins, the cool looking stuff and all that, because you're like, oh my god, they just came out with a Boba Fett skin, I want that. Oh my god, they just came out with this. Oh, they got this event going on, I want that. And it creates that FOMO, especially amongst young kids, and so people buy up all these skins and all that and spend all that money, and it may only be $3 here and $4 there and all that, but it adds up, and it adds up to the price of a new game. And there, all of a sudden you're still playing Fortnite. And yeah, you might be enjoying yourself, and that's wonderful. If that's what you love, then God bless you. Enjoy it, have fun, and spend all the money you want and can afford responsibly on it. But otherwise, it's like, it's taking away the ability for you to say, you know what, I want to try this new game that came out. It's $50, but I spent all my money on skins last month, and I really don't have it, so now I can't get it. So you kind of atrophy as a gamer, and you're just like, well, I guess I'll go back to my Fortnite and play that, and I don't know. But as for how Phil plans to solve what he views as a growth problem, he plans to eschew console exclusivity. He says, I will say every decision we make today and tomorrow is for the better of Xbox. I know sometimes things get weaponized and there's some evil in the background that's making us do things. Phil hates exclusives, and that's why we're like PlayStation and Switch now. Every decision we make is to make Xbox stronger in the long run. It doesn't mean everyone's going to agree with every decision we make, but it is fundamental for how we make decisions. The notion that Xbox can be this one device that plugs into a television isn't something we see in the Gen Z research, because nothing else is like that for them. Some of them will have an iPhone, some of them will have an Android, but all the games and everything is the same. I can still get to TikTok on both of them, at least for now, and all of their stuff is available wherever they want. So for Xbox, our brand pivot, as we attract and maintain relevance with the younger audiences, Xbox is a place where I can find the great games I want to. Yeah, times are changing, I guess. This was an interesting way for him to put it, because it really made me think about how things are, like how we've moved on to subscription services, right? And those subscriptions, like he says here, they're available anywhere. If you get a subscription to Netflix, you can watch your Netflix on your TV, you can watch it on your phone, you can watch it on your computer, you can watch it when you're in the kitchen cooking on your phone, you can be taking a poop, whatever. You've got your subscription, and it's available everywhere. And like you said, TikTok's available everywhere, X, all these different apps and all that. And I guess Xbox is looking to become an app, basically, where you go and can play the entire catalog of Xbox games on various devices, at least to some degree, for the whole Gen Z thing. And it's interesting that they're making that plan. So as an older gamer, I'm not fond of this. I'm 50 something years old now, 54, and that doesn't appeal to me. I don't want to pick up my phone to play a PlayStation game, for instance. If I play God of War, I want to plug in, I want to sit down in my chair, I want to grab my controller, and I want to turn on my big TV and my PlayStation and play God of War there. I don't want to sit, at the table eating dinner and playing God of War on my phone. I don't want, that's why I don't do the PS Remote, and that's why I have no interest in that handheld thing. My gaming experience, I want to be as a gaming experience at a location and all that. So anyway, that's that. It's interesting how he's going there, but Given these significant price hikes, he also clearly intends to maximize the amount of dollars that Game Pass brings in from its current user base. It's hard to imagine that he expects the various subscriptions will grow, given his overall outlook on the industry as a whole. So, yeah, and they ask, what do you make of Xbox significantly raising their prices for Game Pass? I mean, to me, it's inevitable. Everything is going up in price, and that's just a sign of the times right now, and it's sad. It's no excuse and all that. Does it give value? You know, I guess to some degree, although there's a strong argument to be made that this generation Xbox has yet to deliver a fantastic first-party gaming experience. I think the closest they've come is Starfield, and even that gets a lot of flack. You know, I hear a lot of good, but I also hear a lot of bad about it. And from what I've seen of it, you know, as a Bethesda game, and this is no knock on Bethesda, I loved, I loved the Fallout games, I loved Elder Scrolls and all that. But using their creation engine, I could tell right away. I was like, oh, I wonder if they're using their creation engine, if it's been significantly updated, or if maybe they're going to go UE5 for this. You know, I'm kind of curious. And as soon as I saw one of the NPCs talking, I knew it was creation. I'm like, oh yeah, it's creation engine. They just have this certain lifelessness to them, and you know, and it's not terrible. It's not a terrible thing, but it is a thing, you know. And it just didn't feel like that next generation game so much. It just felt kind of like, all right, well, this is another Bethesda game. Now it's in outer space instead of on post-apocalyptic Earth, or in you know, ancient times, medieval times, and all that. Yeah, it's, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below about this whole Game Pass thing. Do you like the subscription service? Again, I just, you know, we've got this, you got the PlayStation Plus one, right? Those are, you know, tied to your consoles, for instance. But then you have stuff like Ubisoft Plus, EA Play, I think is one. And I know I think there's a couple others out there. And now it seems, and it gets more and more frustrating. I think we're going to see even more of these, because it seems like every time you get a new game now, you have to sign up to a website and kind of like synchronize your game with it to some degree, you know. Like IO Interactive for Hitman, for instance. You know, it's like, all right, log in and set up your account and all that. And it tracks your progress, I think, and stuff like that. It's not always required to do, but a lot of times they offer you benefits and perks for it. You know, Dead Island 2 did it for signing up for their newsletter and their website. You got kind of a couple weapons and stuff like that early on. And it just feels like more and more this is becoming a thing. And is that becoming a thing because these studios eventually want to go, hey, you need to sign up with us and play through, you know, you can join us and you can get all these games for free that we've put out, you know, and, you know, including the new games coming out. And I don't know, you know, how many, you know, I think subscription services are collapsing in video and TV and all that. You can see the numbers are dwindling. In the beginning, it was just Netflix, and it was great. And then I think Disney came along and pulled their thing, and it's like, oh, everybody came on board and they're like, you know what? We're going to pull our catalog and make it exclusive to us. And the next thing you know, you went from, you know, paying $150, $160 a month for cable to paying for Netflix and getting access to all kinds of stuff, to now you're paying a couple, you know, $100 some odd a month for all these different services. And do you really watch them? You know, do you really watch them? It's insane how much these things cost and what's available to them. And then it takes us down that notion where you don't own anything anymore. You know, I collected DVDs and Blu-rays and the HD Blu-rays and all that for over 20 years now, going on 25 years. I've got a collection that would, you know, over 1,000 great films and some TV series thrown in there. And I'm talking some of the greatest stuff that's come out in the last 4 or 5 decades. Not all of it, but a lot of it, right? If you came over, you could spend 3 years watching a movie every night at my house and never see the same thing twice. You know, it'd be fantastic, right? And I own these movies. I can watch these movies at my leisure whenever I want to, no matter what. They're not going to get... I'm not going to come on and be like, oh, well, we're removing this one from our service right now because it's just not that popular or whatever. No, it's still going to be there. And it could be something that I love that not a lot of people love, whatever. You know, with games, it's, you know, it's going that same route. I buy my... Now, as opposed to that, I buy my games digitally, which is bad. And I'll admit that. I'm a bad man for that. I should be buying them physically, but quite honestly, if I did that, I just wouldn't have the room to store them along with all these movies and all that. And I like being able to just open up my console and go select, download, and go. I've got a high internet speed. I can download the largest of games in 10-15 minutes tops, you know, and then get to playing. So I like that convenience, but I know it's not good in the long run. And when you see stuff like these studios blocking access to older games that they're no longer supporting, I get it for multiplayer games and all that, but it's happened with some single player games. And I know Ubisoft's been guilty of that with all the bad stuff that they do. That's something that they did. And it's like, well, you know, like I said, I get shutting down servers for crappy live games or multiplayer aspects of games that no one plays anymore, you know. Why keep paying for a server if only 5 people are playing and it's been 20 years since the game was released, or 10 years or whatever? Yeah, go ahead, shut it down, you know. Keep the individual single player content available for people, but they don't. Anyway, that's just my ramblings on this. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notifications. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace.